Hey there, guys. Welcome to my channel. Well, it's not actually my channel, it's this guy's channel.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. Uh, yeah, so today we have a video where I will be ranting on a subject that will obviously, just like always, piss people off completely. But I can't help not to share my opinion about this thing because I think in the long run, this will probably help people. So let me go into what I'm about to discuss. Well, see here. Let me just grab this. What I have here is a guitar, and not only this, but it's an electric guitar. But again, not only this, something you probably don't think about too often is the fact that it is a right-handed guitar. And granted, because most of the population out there is, or at least it's thought to be right-handed. Usually, when you see a guitar, no matter what type it is, you're used to seeing it like this, which is the right-handed guitar. That's why you usually don't pay too much attention to this aspect. But let me tell you why, in my opinion, this choice of making guitars right-handed is a complete insanity. So usually, if you look at many other instruments, whether it's piano, whether it's drums, whether it's a lot of wood instruments, wind instruments, not wood instruments. So a lot of instruments out there actually are not right-handed, but for some reason, someone thought that the guitar, as opposed to other instruments that never had these problems and never will, the guitar has to somehow have it. And if it doesn't have it, we have to create it. Therefore, they came up with the idea of right-handed guitars versus left-handed guitars because, again, for some unknown reason, someone thinks that if you have a preference over the hand with which you're writing and doing most things that deal with, fine motor skills, I guess, this means that the guitar should be picked with this hand. When in reality, not only are you using both hands, but actually, and again, this can be debated, obviously, it depends on the technique itself, but in a lot of cases, the fretting hand is doing a lot more complex logic and work as opposed to the right hand. Again, you can argue that guitar, playing with pick or with fingers only, finger style, has its own set of challenges, and I completely agree. But actually, I'm not here to debate whether or not this hand is more important or this one is more important. What I'm here to talk about is the fact that both are just as important. And there's absolutely nothing in our DNA, first of all, that says, well, we have, the guitar playing gene inside of us, therefore you have to express it the right way. At this point, maybe after, thousands of years, you have certain things in your DNA when it comes to right versus left-handedness, with things like, writing or picking something up, swinging it, throwing it, and stuff like this. But there's nothing that your DNA contains, saying that this hand, which is, let's say, your main hand, so let's say you're a right-handed person, there's nothing in your DNA that says for guitar playing, you should pick using the hand that you use for all other things around the house or whatever, and use the other one for the other half of the playing. So obviously that's complete nonsense, and also guitar hasn't been around for so long so that we can have thousands and thousands of years of kind of etching certain movement patterns into our DNA. That does not happen so fast. Probably doesn't even happen in thousands of years. You need a lot more. But anyway, so first point is there's nothing embedded within your physiognomical and physiological aspects that make you have to pick notification. Notifications aside, there's nothing that makes you pick using your right hand, and then there's nothing that makes you fret using your left hand, or vice versa if you're a left-handed person. One funny mention here, actually, I'm playing a right-handed guitar, and I always will. Although, initially, I'm actually left-handed. I know Michelangelo video also is naturally born as a lefty, and look at him. He plays right-hand guitars, and I'll get to that in a minute. But my point is, naturally, I'm a left-handed person, but when I was very, very little and I began to express the need for grabbing a pen and doodling things and whatever, I was using my left hand, but because the adults around me thought this would be a disadvantage in society later on, which is a very old school of thinking, they kind of were always taking the pen out of my left hand and putting it into my right hand. So eventually I just developed perfect right-handed writing technique. Can I also do it with the left at this point? Yeah, but kind of sloppy. But anyway, back to our point here with the guitar. There's absolutely nothing that makes you be proficient with the right hand, or with your writing hand, let's say, to do the picking and then to do the fretting with the other one. Look at piano. They're using both hands. There's nothing that says, hey, if you're a right-handed person, you should have the lead hand be the right one, which it's your main hand, and the rhythm should be the left. And for left-handed people, we just mirror the whole keyboard arrangement, and you just have the lowest notes on the right and the highest notes on the left. Nothing like that ever happened, ever will, and nobody has any problem playing the piano, no matter if they're right-handed people or left-handed people. Again, same can go for a lot of different instruments. So not only this, but one thing that you have to take into consideration is that despite you not having anything within your DNA, that would increase the preference of picking with your actual main hand and fretting with the other hand, when you as a beginner are just deciding to start playing the guitar and you're going into a guitar shop or whatever, there's absolutely nothing, like when you grab the guitar, there's absolutely nothing already built in so that you see that you have a little bit more advantage playing it like this versus playing it like this. I remember when I first started, I wanted to check some chord diagrams out, and it probably took me like 1 minute just to correctly place my fingers. It was so hard. It was something I never did before. And that's the main point. You've never done this before. So you're absolutely starting from ground zero. And on top of ground zero, you can build whatever you want to. So never let your handedness dictate what guitar you should go for. So now going into the, let's say, so-called final aspect, which is what should you play then. Not to bash on any left-handed guitar players, I would suggest you always go for right-handed guitars. Why? Because of a very, very simple reason. You have probably hundreds, if not thousands, times more variety when it comes to choices for guitars, for models, for colors, for all sorts of spec arrangements and so on and so forth versus left-handed guitars. Left-handed guitars are a rarity, and because of that, if you let the left-handedness dictate the fact that you should play a left-handed guitar, you'll probably miss on 99.9% of the guitar choices that are out there on the market and will be in the future. So your favorite, whatever artist's signature, maybe you're in love with Slash, maybe Eddie Van Halen, maybe Clapton, Hendrix, maybe James Hetfield, whatever. If you ever want to play, their signatures or guitars that look like their signatures, or just any sort of model, whether it's cheap or medium priced or expensive or whatever, you will almost always, as a left-handed guitar player, you will almost always crave for those guitars that everyone else has access to but you. So you do not want to put yourself in this position, especially if you're just right now starting out. So if you've never played guitar before, or you're in your very early beginning, my sincere advice is switch to right-handed guitar playing, because you have absolutely nothing that impedes you in doing so. And even if you have a few weeks or months playing the left-hand version, it's still super early on so that you can make a change. Now, of course, if you already have years down the line of personal investment, and you're already a good guitarist and you have quite good progress, then stick with the left-handed guitar playing, because it's kind of like it's a pity to throw all of that away, or maybe at least you can just when you're bored and you're tired of practicing or whatever, you can just have a right-handed guitar lying around the house, and like a cheap one, and you can just practice vice versa. So yeah, just who knows, maybe in the future you'll become ambidextrous, and you'll be someone like Michelangelo Badio, who also, again, he's left-handed, but he's playing right-handed, just like I do. But also he wanted to explore his left-handed side, which I didn't, and he's able to do quite a little bit of things on the left side. Obviously, nowhere near what he can do on the right-hand side, but still, he wanted to incorporate this side of his, because he's a natural born left hand, again, just like I am. And again, to further emphasize on what I said earlier, that you have absolutely nothing when you're starting out. You have absolutely nothing that dictates what you should do with what hand. Even now, if I'm trying to play something left-handed, again, even though I'm left-handed by nature, I face exactly the same issues. It will probably take me 1 minute to just arrange my fingers properly. And again, I have absolutely no problem playing this way, which normally is the opposite way. It feels as natural as ever, because that's how I started from the very beginning, and that's what I suggest for you to do as well. So again, you don't want to miss on all of those cool guitars out there waiting for you to buy and become an acquisition maniac and have the gas syndrome, right? Gear acquisition syndrome. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you somehow feel offended by this rant. Although, again, in my opinion, this was never meant to offend any lefty out there. But on the contrary, I just want to help you, especially if you're just now starting out and you're thinking about switching to, I mean, not switching, but starting with the left-handed version just because you're a lefty. My opinion is do not do this because of all the reasons that I've just mentioned, and go for right-hand guitars, no matter what the guy in the store tells you or what your parents or music teacher will tell you. It's complete nonsense. I hope I don't have to stress anymore just how much of a blank canvas you have to work with when you're starting out. You literally have zero muscle memory or muscle preference for executing the picking patterns versus the fretting patterns. So yeah, it's almost like because someone can argue, well, this motion looks more like the writing, with a pen, and this one is a bit more weird. It's like pressing buttons. Well, in this case, why don't you have your left-handed keyboards for the computer? Because pressing buttons, and again, you're using both hands, but still, in this case, it means that left-handed people, for some reason, have higher preference of using their left hand for the arrow keys or whatever. And W, A, S, D, Q should be under the right hand. Total nonsense, right? So again, things that are very new in our culture, guitar included, computers included, all other things that you see around you included, there's absolutely no point in making them left-handed. They're just universal. So you do one thing with the right, you do one thing with the left. Sometimes for some equipment you do exactly the same thing with both hands. Sometimes they're specialized. This one does something, this one does something else, but there's never a preference on which one does what based on your left-handedness or right-handedness. You can perfectly be either one of them or ambidextrous or whatever. Does not matter. So I hope I saved you a lot of future hassle and heartache in the future when you will want to check out the latest model of whatever guitar series. But sadly, you'll see that they're not available for left-handed versions, and you'll just have to wait or send emails or beg the people at whatever company to make a left-handed version, which will be a limited version and whatever. Or yeah, you can just stop hunting left-handed unique or limited edition left-handed guitars on eBay or Reverb or whatever, because you should have the whole variety at your disposal. And again, at this point, fortunately or unfortunately, doesn't matter. That's how things are. So-called right-handed guitars are the norm. So in my opinion, they should not even be right-handed guitars. They should just be guitars. The other one should not exist so that it does not confuse people and put them on this very imbalanced position, because initially you have no idea. You go to a guitar store and you see the left-handed guitars and you're like, I can grab whatever guitar I want for an upgrade in the future. Only when you start spending some time in your guitar playing journey will you come to realize that you've been tricked from the very beginning, because you only have like 1% of the variety that the right-handed guitar players have. So it's a pity to miss such an opportunity of not getting screwed from the very beginning, especially by a lazy ass motherfucker working in the guitar store who wants to get rid of his left-handed guitar that's been sitting on the shelf for the last 5 years because nobody's buying it. And I can tell you from experience working in a guitar store, those guitars you would think would have like the the fastest way out of the store because there's such a high demand for them, and there's not enough variety. Actually, it's the opposite. Left-handed guitars are doomed to just rot on the shelf before hopefully some lefty goes into the store and you can trick them that this is the guitar for them especially because they're special, and this guitar is special, specially made for them. It's special and it's custom tailored for their handicap, which is being a lefty. That's complete insanity. It's not a handicap. It's just, it should never come into the equation in the first place. Not to mention, basing your decision on it. So that was it. I hope you somehow liked it, and I hope you don't thumbs down my video just because I'm against this super bright background. But yeah, tell me what you think and tell me what you thought, if you felt like this was helpful or not, and also tell me what you want to see in the near future on this channel, right? So thank you, and till next time. I'm sporting my very, very awkward facial hair, but he don't mind, does he? So till next time, guys. See ya.